All right, welcome into the post-game show, everybody. Dan Tanner for reaction here on In the Paint, Nuggets and Heat. The game's just wrapping up here. The Nuggets have this one in the bag. They're up by 10 with just about 25 seconds left to go, so they will beat the Miami Heat tonight. Right now, the score is 122 to 112 in favor of the Denver Nuggets, and we're just kind of watching along here as this game's getting over. We've got lots to get into here on the post-game show tonight. A monster triple-double for Nikola Jokic. He was absolutely phenomenal tonight. Aaron Gordon had another great game. Boy, is he off to an unbelievable start this season for the Denver Nuggets. Might be his best start of his career. I mean, Aaron Gordon has just been phenomenal. Kind of a weird game tonight, just in the sense of, like, the way this game started. This had a feeling of being a 140 to 135 type of game because neither team was playing defense in this game. I mean, zero defense being played between the Nuggets and the Heat in this one early on. The Heat led 20-16 with 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. So both teams were just blitzing each other and pretty much scoring at will. So a little surprising to see that the Heat looking like, and the game's about to go final, but it looks like the Heat, they're going to end at 112 points. So really good job defensively by the Nuggets after that first quarter. And really, quarters 3 and 4, I thought they had stretches where they struggled defensively, but for the most part, they pretty much locked the Heat down in the game. There's 0.1 seconds left. I don't know what they're doing. This happens all the time in the NBA, but the Nuggets are going to get the win over the Heat. So, yeah, just a really weird feel to this game. Both of these teams came into this game as two of the highest scoring teams in the NBA. In fact, just taking a look at the offensive rating for these teams. I mean, the Nuggets came into tonight as the highest scoring team in basketball as far as points per game go, and the second highest offensive rating in the NBA, just behind the Houston Rockets. The Nuggets have 122.7 offensive rating. They're averaging 125 points per game. They just got under that tally tonight with 122, and the game just went final. So Nuggets improved to 5-2 on the season. As always, love to get your comments in on the show. We'll try to bring you David Adelman as he speaks, and want to get your reaction to the Nuggets win over the Miami Heat. So, yeah, just going back to the numbers between the Heat and the Nuggets here real quick. Like I said, the Nuggets came into this game with the second highest offensive rating in the NBA, and the Miami Heat were at 13th at 117.6. But if you just go through, the first 2 weeks of the season, the Nuggets are the highest scoring team per game in the NBA at 125 points per game, and the Miami Heat are third at just under 124. So this had the markings of just an offensive clinic put on tonight. But like I said, after that first quarter, I thought the Nuggets really did a good job defensively. They gave up 33 points in the first quarter. They didn't give up 30 points in a quarter for the rest of the game. They gave up 26 in the third and 26 in the fourth. So I thought the Nuggets did a really good job getting into their zone. I thought that messed with the rhythm of the Heat on the offensive end, and the Heat just started missing shots. Like, they got down in this game, and you could tell their plan was to just try to shoot their way out of it from beyond the arc, and it just didn't work out for them. Now, Bam Adebayo did go out of this game late in the first or early in the second, I can't remember, and he missed the rest of this game with a foot injury. And it was weird because so when Bam Adebayo goes out, the Heat pretty much have to go small. I mean, really the only other big for them that was playing in this game was Kel'el Ware, who is a nice player, by the way. I really liked what he did tonight. He takes too many outside shots for a guy that size. I thought he could have tried to go inside of the painted area a little bit more, but that was their only big player really that could be on the floor with Bam Adebayo going out, and they just looked tiny. I mean, they had to go small. Did the Miami Heat? They had to go small. They had to go to a zone because they were playing small, and I thought the Nuggets just did a wonderful job of attacking the painted area tonight. Once Bam Adebayo went out of the game, I'll have to look at the total number of points in the paint because at one point they had 50. The Nuggets finished with 62 points in the paint. The Miami Heat had 42. So the Nuggets outscored the Heat by 20 points in the paint. Really, really good job by the Nuggets. I thought Christian Brown was excellent tonight. He made a couple of steals. He was getting offensive rebounds. Same thing with Jamal Murray. I thought Jamal wasn't contributing a whole lot offensively, but him and Christian Brown, really to start the game, they both had a couple of offensive rebounds, and that's one of my favorite things. When your guards are rebounding, that's a good sign that the Nuggets were going to be able to pull this one out tonight, and they did, because when your guards are rebounding the basketball, it just takes a lot of pressure off of your bigs. So that was really good to see. And I just thought Christian Brown played awesome tonight. He's got weird home and road splits. I know the Nuggets have only played 2 road games so far, but he's averaging almost 20 points a game at home and about half that on the road. So Christian Brown loves playing at home, and he had another really good game tonight. Not a high scoring game for him. He only had 11 points, but I thought defensively he was excellent. And I thought his rebounding tonight and his playmaking, I mean, he had 8 rebounds and 7 assists. Christian Brown was damn near close to a triple-double. So that was awesome to see from CB. I thought he was excellent tonight. Jamal Murray, 14 points on 4 of 15 shooting. He really struggled shooting from the field. But again, I thought Christian and Jamal both contributed to this win in other ways. They didn't have it going necessarily shooting the ball or offensively, but I thought their rebounding was, by both of them, was really, really good tonight. So, Jamal had 8 rebounds as well. So your starting backcourt combined for 16 rebounds. That is nearly unheard of. Nikola Jokic had 15. So your starting center and your backcourt had 31 rebounds in the game. Now, I get it. The Heat were going small, but my goodness, that was a hell of an effort from the Nuggets backcourt tonight as far as rebounding the basketball. So that was great to see. I'm trying to see how many rebounds total. Yeah, the Nuggets, I mean, this isn't surprising at all. They had 61 rebounds to the Heat's 38. Obviously, like I said, with the Heat having to go small with no Bam Adebayo, you would hope that would be the case. Neither team shot the ball particularly well tonight. The Heat shot 44.2%. The Nuggets shot even worse, 42.6. 11 for 40 from 3 for the Nuggets and 14 of 41 for Miami. Really, the 3 ball was the only thing that even sort of kept it close for the Miami Heat. Nuggets got to the line 3 more times. They hit 3 more free throws than the Heat did. It was kind of that weird dynamic in this game where so many foul calls in that first quarter. I think there were 19 free throws in the first quarter, and then it felt like the game sort of settled in after that first quarter, and the Nuggets were able to, keep the Heat off the line, at least to the point where it was going to help them slow the clock down and make it so that the Heat could kind of claw their way back into this game. So another really good win for the Nuggets. I believe that's their 11th straight regular season win over the Miami Heat. The last time the Heat have won a game in the regular season in Denver was all the way back in 2016. They obviously got one in 2023 in the finals, but if we're just talking regular season, the Miami Heat have not won a game here since 2016. So really, really good win for the Nuggets. They had to get this one. The Heat were on the end of a 4-game road trip. I mean, that's just a death sentence for opposing NBA teams having to come into Denver, especially these East Coast teams. Anytime they're coming to Denver, whether it's to start a road trip, in the middle of that road trip, or to end the road trip, it's really, really difficult for teams to beat the Denver Nuggets in the Mile High City at altitude, and especially that last game of a long western road trip to have to end that tonight in Denver. This was a game where the Nuggets had absolutely no excuses. So they got it done. 122-112 is your final. A couple of other positives for tonight. I thought Cam Johnson he's starting to look a little bit more comfortable in this Nuggets offense, which was great to see. Hit a couple of threes. And, we've been talking a lot about Cam. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get acclimated with this team. But I thought he looked really, really comfortable tonight. And he wasn't hesitating shooting the basketball. Like when he was open at the 3-point line, he was no hesitation taking those shots. So that I thought that was great to see. Now, again, only had 9 points and didn't shoot the ball particularly well. He was just 3 of 10, and he was 2 of 5 from 3 for 40%. Look, if Cam can shoot right around 40% from 3 this year, that would be the hope and the expectation, because his career shooting percentage is like just a hair under 40%. Great stuff there from Cam Johnson. Again, he's still kind of getting it going. Look, there's going to be games where I believe that Cam Johnson will lead this team in scoring. Now, how often is that going to be? I don't know. Probably not a lot, maybe just a handful of times. But he does have that ability in him, just like Michael Porter Jr. has that ability in him. And by the way, the Nets got their first win tonight. I mean, Michael had a good game, and he's having a big season for them, at least scoring-wise. What did Michael have tonight? MPJ had 32 points and 11 rebounds on 10 of 20 shooting and 4 of 11 from 3. So, it is going to be kind of these two players are going to be tied together, Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson. It was a 1-for-1 trade. Cam comes to the Denver Nuggets. MPJ goes to the Brooklyn Nets. I feel like we have to be careful when we're talking about the numbers Michael Porter Jr. is putting up in Brooklyn. That team has nobody. He is their main option on offense, okay? And look, I'm not trying to sneeze at what Michael's doing in Brooklyn. At least the numbers he's putting up, they're not translating to wins because that team sucks. But I don't want this to get to a place where a lot of Nuggets fans are looking at that trade and saying, well, look at what Michael Porter Jr. is doing versus Cam Johnson. First of all, it's just too early to do that. But also, the Nuggets don't need Cam Johnson to be Michael Porter Jr., if that makes sense. The thing I was most excited about with Cam Johnson was he's not going to be a liability on the defensive end. And I thought he played excellent defense tonight. Michael Porter Jr. is a liability on the defensive end. I mean, Michael, for as great of a shooter as he was a negative on the defensive end. Cam is not. And Cam's not going to hurt this team on the offensive end either. I think once this team gets it going, once he sort of gets acclimated into the offense, into playing with Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Christian Brown, we'll see Cam Johnson start to really flourish in this offense. But it might take a little time. This might take until end of this month, end of December, early January. I mean, I don't know. But I'm not worried about Cam Johnson. I think he's going to be just fine. Tim Hardaway Jr. Talk about all of the offseason additions that Tenzer and Wallace brought in. This guy has been phenomenal for the Nuggets so far this year. He has been their best bench player. There's no doubt about it. And Big Val has been really good. Brucey B has been okay, I guess. He hasn't performed to the level that we saw here in 2023, but again, it is early. I don't think Bruce Brown is going to need to be the Bruce Brown that he was in 2023. The reason I don't think he needs to be Bruce Brown of 2023 for the 2025-26 Nuggets is because they are deeper than their championship team. Like, I can't imagine a scenario in the playoffs where the Nuggets are running 8 guys out there each game, which is what they did in 2023. I mean, it was Jeff Green, CB, and Bruce Brown coming off the bench in their championship season. You're going to have Jonas Valanciunas, Hardaway, Bruce Brown, Peyton Watson, and maybe Julian Strawther. I mean, you really could see a scenario where the Nuggets are playing a 10-man rotation in the playoffs. Now, if the further they advance, theoretically, I know it's early, but the further they advance in the playoffs, yeah, that could shrink. But you got to get Valanciunas in there. He's going to play because you got to have somebody in there to rest Jokic. You're definitely going to play Tim Hardaway. He's their best shooter off the bench. Bruce Brown's not going to not play. And Peyton Watson's going to play because he's the best defender on the team. Not just off with the second unit. He's the best defender on the team is Peyton Watson. And he had another just incredible block tonight. He had a couple of blocks tonight. So, I thought the bench was good in spurts tonight and bad in spurts tonight. But when the bench has it going, they've really, really got a good thing going with the bench unit. And defensively, God, they are so much better with that second unit defensively than they were a season ago. They actually have a bench where you don't have to hold your breath when Nikola Jokic and the starters aren't out there. Good to see. Jamal Murray's been staggering with the bench. We've seen Aaron Gordon stagger with the bench. These guys are playing really, really, really good basketball. So great to see. By the way, talking about the Nuggets defense, I've been talking a lot early on this year about like what's it going to look like with a David Adelman running the show. What are they going to look like? How are they going to perform on the defensive end? Because Michael Malone was a defensive head coach. Adelman was the offensive coordinator. He was running the show on offense even when Malone was here. He's still running the show on offense, but now he's got a bigger role and more of a responsibility to pay attention to the defensive end. The Nuggets are the 6th best team in the NBA in defensive rating. They're top 6, and they're number 2 in offensive rating. So this is not just an offensive show that the Nuggets are putting on right now. They are absolutely a dual threat team as far as being able to be elite on both sides of the floor. So that's been awesome to see. I was very, very curious how the defense was going to perform. And again, I know we're just a week and a half, 2 weeks into the season, but that's a good sign for this Nuggets team that they're already 6th in the NBA in defensive rating. Absolutely fantastic stuff. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. Kevin says, another great win tonight. Yep. Look, man, this time of year, this is just about stacking wins, especially on your first 4-game homestand of the year. These are the times of the season when you've got to just pile up wins that you're expected to win. Dante says, ugly win considering Miami missing Hero and Bam. Yeah, they were missing Tyler Hero, and he's a really good player. I like him a lot. Bam got injured at the end of the first, early second quarter, did not return. So that was a big loss. Bam Adebayo is a tremendous player. He's been an All-Pro 3 times. He's made a couple of all-star teams. He's really good defensively. I would say no defender in the NBA stops Nikola Jokic. I would say no defender in the NBA can even really slow him down. But of all of the big guys in the NBA to give Jokic the most problems, it's probably been Bam Adebayo. And I get it. If you look at Joker's numbers against the Heat, he still dominates them. But it does seem like Bam Adebayo, of all of these big guys in the league, has at least been the guy that's been able to at least somewhat give Nikola Jokic some problems. And once he was out, I mean, my goodness, Nikola Jokic just absolutely shredded this Miami defense. Dante also says, did Murray save the game by coming in for the last 3 minutes? Yeah, that was kind of interesting. This is a game where it felt like the starters were going to be able to sit the last 6-7 minutes of the fourth quarter. Miami makes a little bit of a run. They have to come back in. And look, Jamal's been up and down a little bit, I guess, this year. More good than bad, though, from Jamal Murray. I mean, definitely more good than bad. There's no doubt about it. Jamal has been much, much more consistent. This is the most consistent start that Jamal Murray has had to start his career. And he's still a little bit up and down, but I will take this version of Jamal Murray versus especially what we saw last year. But really, if you just look at Jamal's career, he's a notoriously slow starter. He clearly came into last season out of shape. He did not come in out of shape this year. He was in great shape at training camp. He was in great shape during the preseason. You can tell he worked his ass off over the summer. So I am very high on Jamal. The Nuggets are kind of a weird team just in the sense of, like, if Jamal was on a worse team, I think he could easily average 25, 26, 27 points per game. I mean, look at what Michael Porter Jr. is doing right now in Brooklyn. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's averaging at least 25, if not more points a game. He was never going to touch that here with the Nuggets because their offensive system doesn't allow that. So you've got all these really talented offensive players on the Nuggets, but the way they play on the offensive end, they're so unselfish. They play through Jokic. You're not going to have guys on a nightly basis other than Joker, except sprinkling it in here and there, have monster nights. Like we saw in game 1 against the Golden State Warriors, Aaron Gordon goes for 50. I would be shocked if we see Aaron Gordon go for 50 again at any point this season. Now, he has the ability to do it, especially with the way he's shooting the 3 ball right now. I mean, my goodness. Having Aaron Gordon add that to his game, his offensive game, a deadly 3 ball that defenses have to respect. I can't tell you how many things that opens up for the Nuggets offense. If opposing defenses have to respect Aaron Gordon's 3-point shot, that makes life almost impossible for opposing defenses. Because look, think about it. You have to respect the Nuggets 7-foot center's 3-point shot. You have to respect their 6'8" power forwards 3-point shot. Got to respect Jamal Murray's 3-point shot. You've got to respect Cam Johnson's 3-point shot. I know he's struggling to start the year from 3, but career 3-point percentage is right around 40%. And then Christian, he's not shooting the 3 ball well right now either, but he's close to a 40% career 3-point shooter. Man, it's got to be the head coaches in the NBA and their defensive coaches, their defensive assistants must not sleep very well when they have to go up against the Denver Nuggets, especially at home, because this offense, I mean, how do you slow this team down? We've seen teams try to go back and forth between man and zone. And the thing with the Nuggets, when teams do that, like there has been instances where teams will go to zone and it'll mess with the Nuggets offensive flow for a bit. But after a couple of minutes, maybe a half of a quarter, they figure it out and they're able to just keep on plugging away. So this team is really good. Their defense is, I thought they would be top 15. And, we'll see how the season plays out. Their defense has been much better than I expected at the beginning of the year. Much better than I expected. Now, adding Jonas Valanciunas and Bruce Brown and Cam Johnson definitely helps with that. And getting rid of Michael Porter Jr. is going to help them on the defensive end, just addition by subtraction in that area. But then you replace them with a guy like Cam Johnson, who is a very smart, high IQ defender. It's been awesome to see. So excellent win for the Nuggets. Let's see. Any more comments here? Let's see. Dante says, now that Gordon can shoot 3-pointers, they won't miss MPJ at all. Well, that's what's interesting about AG. He had the highest percentage of 3-pointers in his career last year, and he's off to a better start this season. So kudos to Aaron Gordon. The work he's put in on that shot, is it paid off. I don't think I've ever seen a power forward or another big man, if you will, improve their 3-point shot as much as Aaron Gordon has over the last few years. It just makes this team so dynamic on offense, so tough to guard. Everybody can shoot in the starting 5. You got Tim Hardaway and Bruce Brown who can shoot off the bench. And then you've got Jonas Valanciunas, who's good defensively, and you can still run the offense the same way you run it when Joker's out there. And then you got Peyton Watson blocking shots all over the place. I got to tell you, everybody, like this is probably my favorite Nuggets team of all time. And I was pulling my hair out all last year because I knew they weren't deep enough. I knew they needed a backup center that they've needed for a long time. But this summer, the moves they made, I was just like, oh my God, it's like my prayers and Nuggets fans' prayers have been answered, because this has got to be the deepest team that they've ever had. And especially in the Jokic era. I mean, these guys are deep, and it's showing as the Nuggets beat the Heat 122-112. Let's get an update on the standings here in the Western Conference. Let's take a look here just real quick. So the Nuggets slide back into the 4 seed. They're right behind the LA Lakers, who are 6-2. Wow. Without LeBron, that's actually pretty impressive. San Antonio's 5-1, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Will they ever lose a basketball game? They have started out this season as defending champs, by the way, 8-0. When will the Oklahoma City Thunder lose a basketball game? Boy, I was just telling you how the Nuggets are super deep. the Thunder are the deepest team in the NBA. I mean, they are really, really good. But I really do think the Nuggets match up well against the Thunder. And I've said this from the beginning of the season, and until I have a reason to change my mind, I think it's gonna be a toss up between the Nuggets and the Thunder as to who gets the 1 seed in the West, and inevitably who comes out of the Western Conference, because both of those teams are just so deep, so talented. They both have a championship experience, and it's just been fun to watch. All right, looks like we have David Adelman speaking, so let's go to him and hear from the Nuggets head coach.
Good. David, that's an athletic that goes small and went small tonight. How important was dominating the paint and the glass the way you guys did? Yeah, it's paramount. I mean, that's how we're going to play against those teams is what we give up and some of the quickness part of it, and trying to guard some of these positions. We can dominate the paint like we have over the years. So 62 in the paint. The craziest thing is 21 offensive rebounds, 22 second chance points, but only 8 for 21 of those opportunities. So it could have been an enormous night. Missed some shots around the basket. Some of that's due to their length and athleticism, like you brought up. So it's, every game is different. You have to do to win the game, score the most points, and that was it tonight. It was just dominating the paint. We had great looks from three, just didn't shoot it well tonight from there. But yeah, really proud of the guys, and obviously Nikola was really special again.
Frustrated is probably the wrong word, but you didn't put the foot on the throat, I suppose, in the fourth quarter. Is that annoying? Is it frustrating that you just can't put it away, or?
I don't know. I mean, some teams, it seems like it's a lot easier to do that against others. Like this team just keeps coming. And the way he rotates guys in and out, there's always fresh legs out there. And, they were pressing our feet. So, yeah, you do want to do that. But at the same time, give them credit. They turned us over 17 times for 22 points. That keeps teams in games. And they attacked us on the other end. Only 42 in the paint for them. And honestly, only 14 fast breaks, a really good number of how they're playing. But you're right. If you can be more successful taking care of the ball, better chance of pushing that lead out and sitting guys, instead of playing them all the way through.
It did seem in the second quarter, the second unit was trying to bleed the clock a little bit, like we talked about, and just didn't get a bucket there during that stretch.
Yeah, I didn't think we got into stuff early enough. Some of that's the zone press back into man, zone press back into the 1-3-1 or the matchup, whatever they do different things. But if we want to give Jonas a chance to punch in and score, we have to get in our offense earlier. If we want the ball to pop and move against the zone and explore a third side, not just a second side, you have to get into your stuff earlier. So we'll keep talking about it. It's a work in progress. But it was great to see Tim, the way he shot the ball tonight, making 4 threes, 18 points in 24 minutes. Bruce is really good defensively. Peyton Watson, 10 rebounds, some of the block shots. So there were major positives too. So we got to draw from those as well.
Can you comment on Hardaway, not just his score, but how he fit into the flow of the offense?
Yeah, he just spaces the floor so well. He's such a weapon, and he can get the shot off so quickly and easily. It's a big deal. A lot of teams have the athleticism these days, Miami included, to really load up on the weak side and still get out and get a great contest. But a guy that releases the ball that quickly and gets it off, it's a big deal. And not to mention, he just really knows how to play. This is a group of guys you'd love to play pickup with. Tim's one of those guys. He fits right in. And I hope he shot 9 tonight. If he gets those looks, I hope he shoots 19 one night. He has the ability to get so hot. And you talked about blowing people out. He's a guy that can actually do that for you in a given quarter.
The combination of Jokic and Gordon, what they did tonight, how dangerous can this team be when those guys are the way they were tonight?
Yeah, and I brought this up before. Aaron, these are the kind of games you realize Aaron's a power forward. He's a man. And so if you play small, he's going to eat in the paint. And he did. And they just have such a good synergy together. The big pick and roll, we got behind them a lot, which is a tough play to guard with Nikola. CB does it really well, as well, setting the screen and rolling behind it. So that created a lot of offense. And obviously 62 paint points was off a lot of ball movement, and Aaron and Nikola were kind of the catalyst of that.
David, since you've been here, you guys have been such a good team at home. Last year, that was a little bit of a struggle, especially early on in the season. What do you think's changed this year where these guys, they've handled business at home so far?
Yeah, and it's so important in the West this year. I just think if you're going to rely on going out and beating some of these teams at their place twice, because you're fumbling it at home. That's not good. So no, so far it's been good. I knew this homestand would say a lot about that exact question. Are we ready to really protect home court? And I think if you want to stay up in those standings with these teams that are winning every night, this is so important to win here. And we know Friday is going to be a high level game. I don't think Steph played tonight. So, you know, you're going to see a very energized Warriors team in here. And then Indiana coming in next, who plays a lot like what we just saw, frenetic and fast. So 2 challenges coming this weekend, but a chance, to your point, to really put our stamp down that, you know, if you come here, it's going to be hard to win.
Nikola threw some absolute wild passes tonight, stuff that he used to throw back when he was younger, and he kind of got out of that as he's refined his game.
Yeah.
And some of those were so good, it was hard for the guy to finish the layup. He still finishes 33 points, 16 assists with 15 rebounds. How close is what you're seeing from him to being just like the absolute best anybody can be offensively?
Yeah, I think to teams that change up their defenses, and they do because they have to, and they play small and they mix it up. He was made to play against different defenses. He has a feel for space that's I've never seen before. And so whether it's a zone or a matchup zone or a man, you know, defense, whether they're doubling him or they're not, his comfort level with how he sees the floor is second to none. And, you know, we always say it, I hate to but just don't get tired of it. It's enjoy it while it's here. As a fan, anybody that watches basketball in general, this is something that you're never going to see again.
All right, good stuff there from Coach David Adelman. Yeah, that is. It's always good to be reminded of that. Like, and I always think about that. Like, even with the Avalanche, like, how lucky are we here in Denver, Colorado, to have some truly all-time greats in the primes of their careers right now? Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray with the Nuggets, obviously Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, now maybe even Marty Netchis with the Avalanche. So really cool. It's good to be reminded of just like, man, we'll probably never see a player like Nikola Jokic wear a Denver Nuggets jersey in any of our lifetimes ever again. I hope I'm wrong, but it took this team, nearly 50 years to find a player like Nikola Jokic. And honestly, the league's never seen anybody like him. He's truly remarkable. I noticed that tonight too. It's like Joker had some just unbelievable passes. There were 3 of them. One to Peyton Watson, the alley-oop, he missed it. And then he had a couple to Christian Brown that he doesn't make the shot. It's like, damn it. That would have been a, top 10 on SportsCenter, no doubter. But those passes he was trying, it is interesting. Those are more passes that you would see earlier on in Nikola Jokic's career. And then as he's evolved as a player and gotten, he has gotten smarter as a basketball player too, but he's just gotten wiser about like when to try that. But it definitely looked like a younger version of Nikola Jokic tonight with those crazy passes he was throwing up out there. So that was cool to see. It was just almost like a little bit of a mini throwback of a younger Nikola Jokic, but awesome stuff there. Just one more quick thing. God, is David Adelman just a chill dude? I mean, that guy, it actually was kind of interesting. In the first quarter, he was heated on the sideline about a foul called on Aaron Gordon. I'd never seen Adelman that upset. I mean, and Spoelstra was yelling at the refs too. They both thought it was on the other guy. I didn't even know David Adelman could get that fired up. Because normally he's so even keel, he's so non-emotional for the most part, which, by the way, I like that in a head coach. I'd prefer coaches to be a little more even keel, kind of like how Jared Bednar is with the Avs, like never too high, never too low. That was one thing that Michael Malone had no shortage of, was a lot of anger displayed at various times. And, I'm not trying to dock Malone because I really thought he was an excellent basketball coach, but you definitely don't see as many rage timeouts, at least so far, with David Adelman as you would see with Michael Malone. The rage timeouts have significantly decreased in the David Adelman tenure. All right, let's see here. One more comment. Maximus says, this coach just like Bednar. Right. Yeah. With these rosters, we'll keep both teams. Oh, from a title. Oh, okay. Well, hold on a second. That doesn't even make sense. This coach is just like Bednar. With these rosters, we'll keep both teams from a title. What? Jared Bednar literally has a title as the head coach of the Avalanche. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about there. But anyways, Adelman's been great. I think he's the right guy to lead this team, at least so far. And there's the comfortability aspect there with David Adelman. Jamal Murray, I've mentioned this many times, has called him an offensive genius multiple times. He's been with the organization for going on a decade. So the guys that have been here for a long period of time, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Jamal Murray, they're very comfortable with David Adelman. And then you have a guy like Bruce Brown come back. Malone was the head coach when he was here. They have a different head coach, but he knows the head coach because he was here when Bruce Brown played here. So great stuff from the Nuggets. They have 2 more games coming up on this road trip. They'll play Golden State on Friday. They didn't have Steph Curry tonight, so we'll definitely be monitoring that to see if Curry's a go for Friday night's game, and then they'll have the Pacers in town on Saturday. But that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight, everybody. Again, Nuggets beat the Heat 122-112. Another triple-double for Nikola Jokic, his 169th career triple-double, and it was another third-quarter triple-double. He got his triple-double before the fourth quarter. Joker was outstanding tonight. I would say his best game of the young season. So awesome stuff, and we will talk to you on the next In the Paint post-game show coming up on Friday night to react to Nuggets and Warriors. We'll see you then.